Hello, everyone. Hello, Cook Ransom and Smiley. Why not? Why not? Why not be Smiley? Hey, Stephanie, Faye Packer, Whitney, what's up? Whit, Kishma. Hello, greetings, everyone. So I am here. Okay, let me introduce myself. I said like I'm finally famous. I'm getting close. Um, Hello, Kenny, James, Glenn. I am Stephanie R. Bridges. I'm a writer, author, entrepreneur, publisher, all those fabulous things. What's up? Thumbs up, hearts. I'm easily distracted, y'all, but keep it coming. And tonight I was going to be speaking with, I don't even have her book right here, with Tina Lee Jones. But Tina Lee could not make it this evening. And the reason why she couldn't make it is really a good thing. When you're working for yourself and, you're creating those multiple streams of income, and when you're working to grow your business, you wait for the time when you're super busy, when your phone is ringing and emails are coming in and opportunities are knocking. And when that starts to happen, you want to jump on it. You want to make it happen because that's what you've been working towards. Now, sometimes with a lot of us, it kind of overtakes us because, we think we're ready. We be like, I'm ready, I'm ready, I'm ready. But then when the time hits, we're like, ooh, okay, I better get ready. So basically what's going on with Tina Lee right now is she's just having opportunity after opportunity come in. She's doing a lot of things in her local area. She's in New York, so there's a lot popping and jumping off there. She's doing a lot of in-person events, and things are really coming along for her. So I'm super, super excited for her. I'm glad her business is being blessed. And she just loved the Bridges Book Club. I mean, she loves y'all. She really, really loves y'all. And I know she's going to come back on at some point and definitely talk about podcasting, get you guys over to her podcast, get you guys over to her Instagram. And she has a number of different platforms, some of which are really huge and just popping off. And she wants to keep sharing those jewels and keep sharing that information. She shared some wonderful things about audio transcription. So if you're interested in writing a book, but you don't necessarily want to type it out, she shared some wonderful information about getting along with people you don't get along with, just still working with them and getting to the bag. And she's going to share some great information about podcasting as well, which I know a lot of us are super excited about. So it's just me this evening. Tina Lee is not going to be with us, but keep her in your prayers. Keep her business in your prayers. If you haven't purchased her book, it's still not too late. Get her book. You can carry it around with you, and like when you're about to go to that meeting, or when you're about to go to that big speaking gig, or something else is going on, or you're having an event, because I'm hosting an event coming up, and you get nervous, you can just flip through to one of the chapters and get that extra motivation and that extra push you need to keep it pushing forward. So it is the Goal Digger Tips. It is Goal Digger Tips. And if you're part of the Bridges Book Club, then you already know. If you're not part of the Bridges Book Club, then what is you waiting on? I need you to get on it. Let me add that. Somebody add that in there for me, the Bridges Book Club, so people can join. So today I think I did it right. So I'm on my main Facebook page, and I think I'm also shared to the Bridges Book Club, which is wonderful. So thank you everyone who is here joining me. What's up, Desmond Romero? Hey, I'm so glad you are in the building. I did get, what was one of the things? I did get my iPhone. I did my upgrade. Now it's still a learning process because I haven't actually turned it on. I still got my Samsung. Oh, hello. Okay, yeah. No, okay. So but eventually I'm gonna switch everything, but I haven't yet. But I did upgrade. I do have two computers set up today because I'm going to do a Q&A. I was like, I'm still gonna come on because I plan to come on at 7 p.m. We set an event, we set an engagement, and I'm like, look, I'm gonna make it. I'm gonna be in the building. So I am definitely here for you guys. And I would love to answer your questions. So if anybody has any questions for me, at whatever, business, personal, I write grants, I publish books. These are the books that I've published. That's a book for tweens. That's a book of poetry. That's these are some children's books. And then I actually have a couple of downloadable ebooks, PDFs, a grant writing guide, and then also a book about publishing if you're interested in publishing your own book. So definitely let me know what questions you have. All right, so we did get a couple questions. So I hope Gerald is watching. You know, when you get to a certain age, new things, there's a learning curve to it. So you just don't automatically take to, getting on social media or going live or, setting up an app or downloading stuff. You know what I'm saying? You kind of got to work your way through. So Gerald had a question for me, and his question was, wait a minute, let me read it. His question was, oh, wait a minute. Do I see it right here? Oh, okay. It's saying my battery is low. Well, look, while I'm up here talking about him, it's saying my battery is low. But anyway, okay, so his question was, how do you get started? So I'm like, how do you get started? How do you get started with what? Like, I don't know. How do you get started? So I asked him with what, so he could give me a little bit more information. And if he does, that'll be great. If he doesn't, okay, so be it. So Desmond is coming with the questions, though. He wants to hear a poem, so I will spit something in a minute, but I'm going to answer his first question. So, like I said, I have a book about grants. So everybody wants that free money. I know y'all want it. I know you want it. And I have a downloadable PDF. It's just $9.99. And I'm actually going to give you guys the link for that. But the coolest part of the guide is, like, I'm right here with you. So you purchase the guide. It gives you a lot of great information. I actually share what I submitted, what I was able to submit in order to get the grant. I share all that information in the guide. But the best part is once you purchase the guide, you're automatically put into another Facebook group. Y'all got all kind of groups. You ever see like a movie or a show and it'd be like a bookcase and then you move the bookcase and then it like open like a secret, like, and then you go back behind there. So that's what I got. So I see another question. Let me see what this is. It's in a writer's workshop. Okay. All right, I gotta write that down. Okay, so once you get the guide, you're in this group, and we share information and ideas. We share information about opportunities for grants, about opportunities for sponsorships, about opportunities for awards. I know a couple people in that group got nominated for some wonderful awards on Amazon. And they share that information, but there's so much information coming through. You got to be like, oh, should I take my time? Because everything is time. Okay. Everything is time. Should I go check that one out? Should I research that one? Should I do that one? But like, we're like throwing information like, oh, I found one, like, tossing it out there and you're like, reel it in or not. That went too far with the fish thing. Okay. I was like, but the other part about it is that you get me. So there's an opportunity to work with me directly, to ask me questions directly. Now, I will be 100% honest. There's people in the group, about half of them are from Columbus, and about half of them are from different cities and different states. The people in Columbus definitely have the upper hand, because what I did is I said, okay, so you purchase this grant, I'm going to do a preliminary search for everybody. So I shot everybody information, whether you lived in Texas, whether you lived in New York, whether you lived in Minnesota, whether you lived in Michigan. I shot everybody some information. This looks like this is what's going on in your city. This is what you want to check for. But one of the key things that happens with grants is a lot of times there's windows. So, there's a window of opportunity, and then the window closes. And then the window opens back up, and then the window closes. So when a lot of those people were getting in, I was shooting them information, but a lot of the windows were closed. So, when you're a busy person, when you're an entrepreneur, when you're working, when you're moving, when you're shaking, even though you're interested in that thing, when you see that it's closed, you just kind of move on, and you don't really think back to go back or remind yourself. Now, in that grant guide, I said, put a reminder this month. Wait a minute, let me get my new phone. I said, put a reminder in your phone, on your calendar. Call the agency, call the organization, build a connection, find out when the next workshop is. If they don't have it posted on their calendar, call them and find out. Because the one thing that's true about these organizations that are giving money, they want to be just as popular as we do who are trying to get the money. So we want to get the money for products and for projects and for our purpose and our vision. And we have all these wonderful things that we want to do, and we're excited. We want people to know about it, and we want to get as much money as possible to get as much attention as possible. So do these organizations, okay? So they love when you come out to their workshops. They love when you give them a call and ask questions, especially they never gave you no money before. They never heard of you before. They're like, oh, come out. But what happens is that for my people here in Columbus, I'm doing it too. I'm checking for it because I've gotten some of the money. And so I'm kind of like in the game a little bit more. So I can tell them, boom, here's the link. It's going on right now. Put this grant in. So about 5 people, I know it's 5 of us in Columbus, we all put in grants. Now, I don't know if more of us did, but I know at least 5 of us did. So I'm still waiting to see who's going to get the money. Now, Desmond, who asked the question, I'm like almost 100% sure he's going to get the money. So what was his question? His question was, should you pay people who are assisting you in getting grants? Should you pay them up front, or should you just wait for the money to come through and then pay them, after the fact? Okay, so that is an excellent question. Now, I definitely think that you should pay people. So in my case, you're paying for the guide. You're paying $9.99 for something that off rip can make you $500 to $1,200. Okay, to $1,250 actually. Those were the grants that we all submitted for. So definitely you should pay something, because somebody took out their time, somebody did the research, somebody found the information. So you should definitely pay something. Now, it's a little different when it comes to writing grants. Some grants are low-hanging fruit. And my guide is kind of like they're starter grants, okay? Like they're starter grants. They're not going to take you a lot of time. It's not for a lot of money. Like I said, it's $500 to $1,250. It's pretty accessible. The people are nice. They're answering the phone. You can come through. That's that low-hanging fruit. So if you really want somebody to really, help you out and, sit down with you and answer questions, you should definitely pay them. Now, I don't know that should be a huge amount of money. It could be a small amount of money. But when you start getting into the larger dollars, so So one of the people out of those 5 people, one of the people tapped me and said, "Oh, I want you to meet me at the library because I want to make sure I get this money." That person is going to definitely get the money. Okay, we'll see who else get the other people might get it just off strength of the guide. One of the other people called me, was like, "I'm about to submit the for these grants." I was like, "Oh, don't do it like that. You might want to hold, you might want to be a little more strategic." And I was answering some questions about what exactly she should write in the information. So we'll see who gets it. I might not even get it because they've given me money in the past. And like I said, they want to give new people money and they want to show diversity. Because you got to understand, these organizations, they're getting money from somewhere. They got to have a report. They got to answer to somebody. And they can't keep saying that they gave the money to Jill Johnson. They're like, why y'all giving all the money to Jill Johnson? Like, you need to give the money to Shakisha. You need to give the money to Ladanian. And the same thing is true with me. Like, why you keep giving the money to Stephanie Bridges? Like, she already got the money. Okay. So we're going to hold off on her. So they might not even give me the money. But we'll see who comes through, who actually gets that money and that grant. But as I was saying, Desmond, and since he asked the question, we're talking about it. Desmond, he actually tapped me about getting some assistance, and he did. He paid me. He was like, this is what I can give you. I'll pay you this, and I was ecstatic about it. So, but now let's get away from the low-hanging fruit. So right now, and I'm telling people, get the guide, because all you got to, especially if you're in Columbus. I love y'all in other cities and states, but y'all are like diversified. Y'all are like all different places. So in order for me to really keep up and keep track and know I'm not going to, get anything monetarily, like they're getting this information because I'm trying to get to the bag too. So when I'm getting to the bag, I'm like, okay, they bought the guide. Come on, y'all. It's over here. Come on, y'all. No, they put it over here. So I'm taking, everybody with me. But if you're in a different city, in a different state, and I do that preliminary one for you, I might have to set up a different structure where if you want me to assist you more, that I can, but you would have to pay me something up front. So there's opportunities coming, and I'm about to apply for actual 2 opportunities to get more money. So one of the things that happens, I'm a for-profit. I'm not a nonprofit. I'm an artist. I'm a for-profit business. Okay. So when you think of grants, a lot of times you think of nonprofit organizations. Okay. And so there are lots of money out there for nonprofit organizations, for schools, for grassroots organizations. Okay. But you want to get to that money too, right? Because you're like, I'm people too. I'm doing something for the community. I got the Keep the Peace book, you know what I'm saying? So you want to get to the money too. So what you can do is you can get a fiscal agent. So I've had the opportunity to build relationships. That's another thing that I talk about in the guide, is about building relationships. And I see another question. How many? Okay. And so it's taken me a while, but I've had an opportunity to build some good relationships. So 2 of those relationships are with nonprofits, with people who can act as a fiscal agent on my behalf. Now, one of them actually tapped me about an opportunity because, I'm doing the Bridges Book Club, and they were like, "Oh, would you like to do a book club for another group?" And I was like, why, sure. And so, I want to come to the table and be like, not only do I want to assist with that, I think we can get some funding with that, since you this nonprofit organization. So that's one of the opportunities. The other opportunity is just a project of mine that I've been wanting to do, but haven't had funding. And so I'm working with somebody else as a fiscal agent in order to get money there. But it's a little bit more as far as writing is concerned. It gets a little bit more detailed. It takes a little bit more time. You know, you got to reach out. You got to get more letters of support and different things like that. So again, the question is, should people pay up front or should they pay behind? So I'm not actually, I did get an opportunity. I have an opportunity coming up to actually write grants for another organization as a business, just to write for them, kind of like as an employee, as a contracted. But that's great, because I was going to say I'm not a professional grant writer, but I guess I am at this point. So people ask me about getting grants and, you know, wanting money. So there was one organization in particular, and I was like, okay, I'm on board. It takes time. It takes research. It takes energy. So I'm saying I'm on board. I'm going to put all my stuff down, include my new phone. Wait a minute. I'm on my new phone. I'm going to put my new phone down. I'm going to put my cup of water. I'm going to put my papers down that I've been working on and I've been writing on, because I'm going to come over here and I'm going to help you. So I said, okay, I'm going to help you. You give me, you know, you pay me something up front. And the person was like, pay you what? I don't got it. I was like, okay, cool. I know how it is, B. I know how it be in these streets. Let's do this. You sign this contract. If you get the money, you give me 15%. If you get the money. Okay. So now these are larger dollar amounts. We're not talking about $1,250 anymore. We're talking about $5,000. We're talking about $25,000. We're talking about $50,000. Okay. So a lot more time, a lot more energy, a lot more effort. You sign this contract right here. You say you give me 15% if you get it. Because in my mind, okay, yeah, I'm doing a lot of work, but it's going to help me too in the long run, because I'm going to have this under my belt saying this is something I've done, something that I've, you know, done successfully, or something that I can learn from. Because that's one of the questions out there, is how many grants have I gotten successfully? So I said, you pay me 50%. They were like, they started choking again. I was like, you know, and they were like, well, you know, I'll call you, whatever. I was like, dude, peace up, peace out. Okay. One thing that Tina talked about that I will talk about is, my time. I love my time. Colette said that your time is your spiritual currency. May, listen. Your time is your spiritual currency. And I told him up front, I was like, you are paying for my time. You're not paying for me writing no grant. You're not paying for me researching nothing. You're not paying for me going to anybody's office and ask questions and finding out information. You are literally paying for my time, flat out. And if you still choking, that's a sign for me that this is not going to work. Now, that doesn't mean that me and that person don't still work together, that we don't still have a professional relationship, that we aren't still doing things and have plans for the future. You know, it's just that that's not one thing that I'm going to do. So yes, I definitely believe that if you have someone as a grant writer, that you should pay them. Now, whether you pay them upfront or, you know, afterwards, that just has to do with trust and what, you know, you two come together and decide to do. Yes, I would have loved just to, you know, and it would have been a smaller amount if I would have got the money up front. You know what I mean? I would have loved to assist in that manner, just to, you know, show face, like, yeah, I got your back. You know, we're going to make this happen. But when that wasn't really an option, I was like, okay, just give me that 15. Just give me that 15% off of whatever it is. And I would have taken that. But you definitely do not, and I say do not, Don't write no grants for nobody for free, and don't write no grant for nobody saying that they're going to pay you later, and then they don't sign something. When you sign a contract with somebody, it's not even necessarily that anything's going to go wrong. Usually it doesn't, but just in case, you want to definitely have something in writing. So another question is, how many grants have I successfully gotten? Okay, so I've gotten, let me see, 1, 2, 3. I've gotten, okay, so I'm on the brink. I didn't finish this part. So I'm on the brink of getting these other two grants, because I got a meeting with the person who takes the grants. Okay, so that's one of the things that's in there too. You always, if you can get them face to face, get them face to face. Okay, and I promise you, I called, I emailed, I called again, I emailed again. In fact, when I finally got to the meeting, the person was like, "Oh, I'm so sorry. I don't know what was wrong with my email. I saw you emailed and it was from such a long time ago." So they really just, they didn't have to apologize. I didn't care. I know they're busy, busy people. They're going to do what they're going to do. It's business. But I said business. I didn't say it's business. But okay, so those are two. So let's just say I get one of those. So successfully, I would say I've gotten 3 grants, and I've gotten about 1, 2, 3, about 3 or 4 sponsorships. So grants and sponsorships are a little bit different, but they kind of go hand in hand. And I do talk about sponsorships as well in the guide. So I've gotten a bank sponsorship, and I've gotten some sponsorships from organizations. And I've also gotten a couple procurement contracts. So all those things are different. So a couple procurement contracts from the government, about 3 grants, I would say, and at least 2 and 3 sponsorships. So that's what I've gotten so far. So basically what I'm doing is, it's kind of like a game. They want to know who else has given you money. Oh, I've actually gotten more than that. I was written into a grant too. So they want to know who else has given you money. They want to know how much money you have gotten. They want to know, what does that relationship look like now? So when you're starting with that low-hanging fruit, not only are you like building up your resume in order to get more money, but you're getting a better understanding of how everything works. Because even though, you read something and someone tells you something, it's not until you start writing it and you start actually having those meetings with those people who are giving out the dollars. So that is so important. Not only because they'll give you like information verbatim, like I was told, okay, you shouldn't do that part, you shouldn't say that, but you should say this. You shouldn't write that in there, but you should write that. Okay. So not only are they giving you the game like that, but they're having an opportunity to meet you and like you and really, go to bat for you. Because it's going to be a committee that kind of looks at it and says, yeah, yay or nay. But that person knows you, they met you, they're like, oh, she cool. She emailed me 2,000 years ago and I just got back with her. So we should look out. And then I didn't even tell all my Columbus people this. And then for my Columbus people who have purchased the guide, it's $9.99, it's in there. The organization is actually going to host a workshop. So a lot of organizations host workshops for the public, and those are those low-hanging fruits. Go to those workshops, but some of them don't. But when I was in the office, I was like, I got this book club, I got this guy, I'm talking about grants, like, can you come out? Can you speak to the people? And they were like, yes. So that's something that is definitely going to happen. And we will definitely be getting to that. Now, again, I'm not a nonprofit. I had to have work with a fiscal agent in order to do that. So you have to build those relationships. So Diane has another question. She asked, did I pay someone? No, I didn't pay no one because I spent the long hours of research and time and commitment of finding all this information out. And when I spoke the last time, we talked about time versus money. Believe me, if I could pay somebody up front what I asked, if I could pay somebody 15%, I would do it. I'm about to go and work somewhere and just write grants because people are going to pay for you to do that because it's time consuming. It's work, it's research. It's, you know what I'm saying? And that's the other thing about it. You have to look at it and say, is this even worth it? Like they call grants free money. It's not really free because there's a lot that goes into it in order for you to get a yes. So that is what I did. I did not pay anyone. Nobody helped me. Nobody assisted me. I just, was on a computer just researching and finding things out. All right. Y'all like to choke. I know that. Folk will choke on you, won't they? You be ready to go. They be like... Okay, so Trina has a question about grants too. Can you submit the same project for multiple grants? Definitely, because some funders, they want to see a match. They're not giving you all the money. So with one of the projects that I'm submitting for here coming up soon, I'm submitting it for $5,000. But there's another grant that I'm going to submit for, and it's for $5,000. But the first grant for $5,000, it can be like a standalone project. They're like, okay, yeah, we'll give you the money. We might not give it all to you because, that's a different thing. I always go for whatever the height is, and then you give me what you give me. But you can have a standalone project one time, boom, it's a go. The other funder, they're like, no, you got to have your project, whatever it is, it needs to be at least $10,000. We're going to give you $5,000, but you need $5 other $1,000 at the table. So when you start getting to those higher dollar amounts, that's what happens too. So there's another one with that same organization that's $25,000. So you'll be like, well, why don't you go for the $25,000? Well, there's levels to this, people. There's levels to this. Because if you get the 5 stacks and you do right by that, then they'll be like, okay, we might give her 25. But when you get to the 25, it can only be a fourth of the project. So whatever it is that you're doing, it needs to cost $100,000, and you need to show where it is that money is coming from. So yes, you can, the same project, you can have multiple grants, and that's what I plan on doing. I'm applying for this one grant for $5,000, and I'm applying for this other one, and I'm gonna let them both know that I've applied to both grants, because it's just like somebody, you say, oh, I want to, let's say you ask, you're 16 years old, and you ask your parent, you're like, oh, I want to buy my first car. And so your parents like, okay, well, I'll help you, but what are you bringing to the table? Like, do you got a job? Are you putting some money to the side? Are you saving? Is your mama going to help you? Is your grandma? Did you ask anybody else? Who else is? Because, like, I don't want to just, throw out my whatever it is to purchase this car. I need to see, some effort and some energy. So that's exactly what they want to see. So they want to see you get funding from other places. Now, if it's a smaller dollar amount, even if it's a larger dollar amount, you can say, well, I'm matching with employment, I'm matching with a sponsorship, I'm matching with another grant, I'm matching with my nest egg, whatever it is that you have available to you as a resource, you can match with that. All right, so that is that question. Let me see if I have any other questions that I missed before we kind of move on. So anybody else have any questions about grants? Okay. So let's talk about writing workshops. So that's an excellent question. Is interested in a writer's workshop to get ideas of writing, any suggestions. So the grant people, Greater, that we've been talking about, one of them is Greater. Let me see. It's GCAC. Wait a minute. GCAC. Okay. So it's GCAC. So that's Greater Columbus Arts Council. And they do have some workshops. So they have workshops for a lot of different disciplines, but they also host some different things specifically for writing and for writers. And you can find some information there. I know, is it Norris House? Anybody else add some information in as well? I know, I believe it's Norris House. Norris House. And I'm just typing it in. Oops. I didn't mean to. Norris House. One thing. So Norris House is another organization. And I haven't been there, but it's a organization that they do a lot of writing. So they do writing workshops. They do like in-house discussions. I think it's a place that you can actually join if you like, it's kind of like a collective if you need a place to work out of or something like that. I think let me know. Can you guys still hear me? You guys still hear me? Still see me? I think I'm kind of frozen. But Norris House is another one. So let me know. Give me a thumbs up or give me a heart or something if you can still see me, hear me. I don't know if I lost connection or I just can't see you guys. Let me see. Or I just don't know how to work this computer, one or the other. Okay, but that's Norris House. So that's another one. Now, I did talk about that I am as well. So I am working on a publishing workshop. So that's another thing that takes time, energy, and effort. And a lot of people have books that they've written, that they've worked on, but they don't necessarily okay, here we go. Okay, I'm back. Hi, cuz. What's up? How are you doing? What's up, Steven? Okay, I don't know if you guys are on the last live, but I got kicked off. Hey, Chantel. Like, I don't even want to say, like, I'm great with technology. I'm just going to, just say that, just put that in the atmosphere that I'm great with technology. Wonderful, wonderful. Good to hear. So in the last live, and I'm not going to stay before you long, I was just talking about writing. Somebody asked a question about writing. So I was taking questions from the group. We talked about grants for a little bit, and then Love You Too. And then somebody asked about writing. So I gave them some information about writing. Greater Columbus Arts Council It's one place that has workshops, and I believe it's called Nora's House. I believe that is it. I asked somebody else to put the information in there too. I believe they have writing workshops. I think there's like the Thurber House too that has writing workshops. Definitely, if you're interested in information about grants, the last live that I was on should be published here fairly shortly. So definitely take a look at that. And I do have a grant guide that's available as well. So definitely take a look at that. So, but talking about writing and talking about publishing, I was just saying that we all have a story. We all have a story to tell. And it's so important that we share our stories. Each one of us has something inside of us that could benefit someone else. Okay. And so I see Chantel on here, and I know she has an amazing cookbook, you know, to teach everybody about baking and some of the things that she has learned during her time being an entrepreneur and being a baker. I know Nyla, as you know, part of the Bridges family, like, ooh, I know you got a story and dim sum to tell. Because you know, I mean, you know what I'm saying? Things happen. So we all have a story to tell, right? So if you're a writer, if you have books, people are going to come to you and say, oh, I got this story, I got this idea. You're going to love it. You're going to think it's great. Hey, what's up, Sherry? And they're going to want you to collab. They're going to say, oh, you should collaborate with me. You should collaborate because this is just brilliant. And it is brilliant and it is wonderful, but it's their vision, it's not mine. So again, in the case of helping people with grants and helping people with their vision, for me to stop what I'm doing, it is going to cost you, okay? What's up, Glenn? So it is going to cost you because I have a vision too. God gave me a dream too. You know, my dreams got dreams, okay? So you want me to stop with my dreams so we can try to hustle over and help you with yours. I'm 100% on board. I think your dream is great. I want to help you bring it into fruition, but I'm going to add a price tag to my time. Okay, so Colette Harrell said that your time is spiritual currency. It's spiritual currency, okay? So it's not to be played with. Don't let people just waste your time. So people are like, they start choking again. What's up, Anthony? What's up? They start choking again. I need you to get into the Bridges Book Club. They start choking again. And then, so I'll share some information with them. I'm like, look, you want to publish your book? I'll tell you all that. You got a pen, you got a piece of paper. Let me tell you how to publish your book. So I'll give them all the information. Boom, boom, boom. Now, I don't meet with people anymore. I tell them over the phone. They say, let's do lunch and let's do that. Nah, we ain't got to do lunch. We're going to have a conference call. You call me. You be ready with your questions. I'm going to be ready with this information. So I give it all to them. Boom, 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 boom. And that's what I do. So they're like, oh, wow, thank you so much. That was so helpful. That was so great. I really appreciate it. So I was like, well, you know, why don't I just put a price tag on that? And it's $9.99. So the same information I can tell you, and I follow up and send them an email. I'm going to put it in this guide. I'm going to give you all the links and everything like that. It's $9.99. You'll have that information. We can have that same conversation. Everything is all good. But this is what I know. That even though we all have a story, we all have something to tell, we're not all writers, okay? So a lot of the authors in the Bridges Book Club, they're business owners, they're professionals, and they have a book that adds gravitas and says, look, I'm a professional. This is what I'm going to teach you. This is what I'm going to tell you. This is me. Some authors are writers, and that's what they do, is they write stories. They tell stories. They write stories, okay? It's a passion for them. It's something that they cannot not do. So I'm a writer. So whatever time it takes me, if I don't have the money, because I'm always an advocate, spend that money. If you got the money, spend that money. If you do not have the money, whatever time it takes me, I'm going to research. I'm going to find out. I'm going to trial and error that ish to death. I'm going to spend hours trying to figure out formatting. I'm going to spend hours trying to just trying to figure stuff out. What app I got to use? What platform do I need to get on? How do I need to have this look? And I get stuff done. I don't get stuff done the best. Anybody can look at, my books or at anything and they'll be like, oh, those look wonderful. Those look great. But they can say you could do A, B, C, D, E, F, and G. Now, maybe A, B, C, D, E, F, and G weren't free. And I was working on free. Okay. So I had to do what I could do with free 99, but it took me a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of effort, a lot of sweat and tears. Okay. I know that, I sounded like a preacher. Wait a minute, let me do that again. Let me hit that for you one more time. I know that those people who are coming to me, who have those books, who have those amazing ideas, who want to do those collaborations, even though I give them the whole game, like boom, 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 this is what you do, this is what you go. They are not going to put in that time. That time is spiritual currency. They are not going to put in that time. So I'm going to have, I said all that to say, that I'm going to have a publishing workshop. I'm not going to have a writing workshop, but I'm going to have a publishing workshop where we can spend 2 or 3 days and go through the whole process together. So depending on where your manuscript is, when you come into the workshop, when you come out of the workshop, you will have a published book. And it will be finished because you set aside the time. It's a beast. It's a beast. Okay? And I tell everybody, it's not difficult. It's just hard. You know the difference between difficult and hard? Like difficult is like, what do they call it? Look, I can't even think of the name. What do they call it? Like astroscience? What do they call it? What do they call it when something's hard? They be like, it's not rocket science. Okay. So rocket science is difficult. It's intricate. Okay. It's difficult. Digging a ditch is hard. It's hard work. So it's not difficult publishing. Publishing is not difficult. It's hard because it's just going to take you a lot of time, a lot of energy, a lot of effort, a lot of trial and error. So that is one of the things that I'm thinking about doing. And what I'm definitely going to do is do a publishing workshop. So give me a thumbs up or a heart or something like that if you would think you'd be interested in a publishing workshop. If you got that book, you're almost finished or you're done, or you just want to know what that self-publishing process is like, the print-on-demand process is like, to move on. Yes, a spiritual currency. So hello, George. Hello, Nicole. I'm so glad you joined me this evening. That was pretty much it. Does anybody have any other questions about grants, about publishing, about writing? Here's another writing tip that I got from somebody else who's in the Bridges Book Club. Y'all should join the Bridges Book Club if you're thinking about writing or you already have written a book. It's just $20 for the whole year. You go to bridgesbookclub.com. I'm gonna put that in here for you because I'm a giver. It's bridgesbookclub.com. And you will see a tab that says, are you a published author? And then also, let me give you my guide for self-publishing. I think that's what I was trying to do when things went astray the first time. So here is my guide to self-publishing. And then also in here, I'll put my guide for grants. So if you're interested in getting grants. Now that's some good information. So go back and write that other one so you can find out information about getting grants and writing grants. And I share that information, Control V, with you as well. So that's $40 you can spend and get a wealth of information. What's up, Harold? Especially, I shouldn't say especially, like if you got a book on your heart, you really want to know how you can self-publish it for little to no money, definitely get that 10 tiny steps. If you are interested in getting grants or sponsorships, man, listen when I tell you, get that grant guide, because the grant guide comes with a group and it comes with me, especially if you're in Columbus, Ohio. Okay, we get into the money. We get into the money. And so everybody in my group, everybody who gets the grant guide, you know, I'm like, I'm giving it to y'all. So definitely get that grant guide. And then for anybody who's working on a book, who's an aspiring author or who's published, join the Bridges Book Club as well, because that right there is like an infusion of like energy, of motivation. When you get around that whole group, go to bridgesbookclub.com and click on the author page and start clicking on some of those websites and checking out some of those people's information and look at all those books. You get motivated. You're like, oh, okay, I'm ready. You know what I mean? It's that like that little spirit of competition, and then knowing you have that support and everything like that. So yes, thank you so much, Sherry. She said, I'm a good giver. Hey. I don't think that's the kind of giving she meant. Oh, no, I'm just kidding. Okay, I'm kidding. No. Nicole said, I'll have to watch the replay. I usually have perfect attendance on Bridges Book Club Lives. I have an excuse. No, LOL. I love that too, because I can tell who's most, who participates the most in the Bridges Book Club. And so we're going to start having some different prizes and some different things like that. For people who come on, for people who comment, for people who join. So definitely join the Bridges Book Club, hang out with us. Tina Lee could not make it. I talked about that in the other live as well. Tina Lee is our featured author of the month. She wrote the book Gold Digger Tips. It is bomb. It is so helpful. Get that book definitely, because it's one of those books you can carry with you, and like when you just need to read something real quick to motivate you or to inspire you or like to get you through that meeting or through that speaking engagement or through that event, like boom, it's like right there. And it has scripture in there too. So y'all thinking y'all like she acting like it's a Bible, but it has scripture in there too. So definitely make sure you get Tina Lee's book. And I think that is it. I'm out of here, y'all. I really appreciate you hanging out with me. My apologies for the technical difficulties. I do have my new iPhone. I will be getting it set up, but you know, I can't let go of the stems. That Android though. But soon I will be letting that go. So love you guys. Peace.